and just a crazy love affair with intermittent, unreliable energy sources.
You're talking about solar. Why are you so down on solar? This is the cheapest thing you can install. Batteries are here, and they're being produced at an incredible rate. Why are we so anti-solar? Or why are you so anti-solar?
I'm not anti-solar.
Well, why do you keep saying then that this unreliable solar? If you put batteries on it, it's totally reliable.
If you take all the batteries in the United States, you could store 5 minutes of power. 5 minutes.
Of the entire country, but if we've had many days in California and in Texas where solar's been the majority of it, so why are you so down on solar?
It can be the majority on a sunny day in the summertime.
Yeah.
That's not what matters. In PJM, where we are right now, a peak demand this year, 97% of electricity, wind, solar, and batteries delivered 3%. That's when it matters. If you're 20%
Wait, you're
on
cherry
average.
picking DC?
All right. So this is so interesting to me because it feels like you're making a very obvious point, which is during the daytime, there's sun.
Yeah.
We can collect that power. We can put it into a thing called a battery.
Yeah.
And then we can use it later on.
Yep.
This is basic stuff. And the response from this guy is, well, currently it doesn't power DC. Therefore, that to me is not.
I think, in fairness to him, he was probably expecting no pushback, and that maybe he would just be able to give, a standard spiel. But, I'm paying attention, and I wasn't trying to be super adversarial here, but he wasn't expecting the pushback. I'm not saying my job on All In is to give pushback, but the spirit of the podcast is free dialogue, unconstrained. We're going to mix it up. And so whenever I hear somebody with a little too much spin, and I felt like if you're going to give solar this big dig without actually saying why, I need to know why. The audience is wondering why. So we had to get into it. He says later, he circled back around later, as you may have seen, and said, I just want to let everybody know, I'm not anti-solar. These guys are just, I think, very pro fossil fuels. And so we probably had too much emphasis and too much of the government, for many people's taste, spending money massively on solar and wind and not doing enough drilling. And now we're kind of got the other group in office. They're going to be trying to get more gas out of the ground, et cetera. And it's all of the above. Let's call it what it is. We need all of it. If you're going to look from first principles, solar is the best solution for the short and the midterm. Nuclear and eventually, fusion is the 10 years from now, we might have more nuclear online. For now, you do need nat gas for sure. And you do need a lot more solar. And solar, you can just lay solar panels on the ground. And when you need more power, you lay more on the ground. And you don't need to put them on roofs. As long as you're not in a populous city where there's no space, it is the best solution. It's obviously the best solution. If you look at the cost to install coal, and clean coal is, I think, a significant premium on top of coal, or to do nat gas, those new plants are much more expensive than solar.
And worse for the environment.
Yeah, and if you bring up environment, I think you have to bring up two different pieces, because it is a trigger. Some people don't believe in global warming. So if we just take the global warming debate out of it, right? Let's say, for argument's sake, that there was this grand conspiracy and global warming's a non-issue. And it was the whole thing was made up. Okay. Now, I certainly think it's been exaggerated. I don't think it's made up, you can see the global warming, but we can have that debate. But if you put the debate on the side, nobody wants to live next to a coal plant. That's not good for your lungs or your kids. Nobody wants to rip the environment apart. Of course not. But we do want to compete with China and other places. And so pollution is the better way to say it. So if you just say pollution, forget about the word environment, it's triggering for people. On a pollution basis, nobody, 100% of people don't want to pollute. So that's, I think, the way to frame this. There's pollution and there's global warming. I just say take global warming off the table. We're going to solve it with technology. And we're well on our way. And the people who have to solve it, frankly, is not the United States, because we have great standards, whether it's Republican standards, or somewhere in between the two. It's India and China. No matter what we do in the United States, it'll have zero impact on this long term if China and India don't get their stuff together. And they're going big time solar in China and big time nuclear. So they have already got the memo. So this was, I think, just a little bit of a political statement from him. I think this administration is anti-renewables. Generally speaking, they don't want to give them subsidies. Okay, fine, don't give them subsidies. Solar still wins.